Alright, hello, this is a quick tutorial on how to make a bingo file for Tears of the Kingdom. First thing you gotta do is hit start new game. It's not really much to say during prologue, so I'm just going to talk about some more general things, such as how to prevent having to make a bingo file after hard saving in the middle of a bingo game. So you have like a couple options. You can make the bingo file on an account with Nintendo Switch Online, so that way you can upload the save file to the cloud and then turn off automatic save file backups for that account. Or I guess for Tears of the Kingdom for that account. And then you can download that save file after you're done playing a bingo match. You don't want to pay for Nintendo Switch Online for an account, your options are to just never hard save ever again on this file, and always keep that hard save at the right after the paraglider text box or wherever the defined start of the bingo file is. Also, if you have a homebrew Switch, you can just restore them back up, but that's not really very common or accessible. Something to note is that as soon as you click new game, a global timer starts, which keeps track of all of the dragons in the game and where they're at. The dragons don't move when you're inside of shrines, and the dragons don't move when you sleep at a campfire. But time of day will obviously pass when you're inside of a shrine, and obviously time of day sits when you rest at a campfire. So do not take like an intentionally long amount of time, or even an unintentionally really long amount of time. If you accidentally die maybe like 10 times when making a bingo file, you might want to restart. Because then your dragons will be in a different spot than most other people. And the idea of a bingo file is to make a file that everybody makes the same way, so that way everyone's kind of on an even playing field. So you're not going to pick up any items, so that way nobody gets that first item text box for anything. And you're only going to pick up what's absolutely necessary during like Great Sky Island and the short post game after that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and edit out this unskippable cutscene because there's really no point in watching it in a tutorial video. So talk to you in a sec. Alright, first thing we're going to do is pick up the Decayed Master Sword. This is one of the first things that you have to get in a new file, and it's unskippable. So this will be the one of two text boxes that we're going to get here on Great Sky Island. The other one will be the small key in the Fuse Shrine, which you'll see in a little bit. I'm going to be mostly doing casual strats in this tutorial. Doing speedrun strats in a bingo file it's not something I would recommend doing, just because not everyone can do them, and if you complete your bingo file significantly faster than someone else, your dragon cycle will be different than most other people. So doing little things here and there are probably not a big deal, and everyone's going to be taking slightly different routes and managing stamina differently. So at the end of the day, it's really not that big a deal that everyone's file is going to be a little different. For example, bad stamina management. But yeah, not much to say here. Just run to the title sequence and make sure you don't open any chests or pick up any items that are optional. You can complete Great Sky Island without picking up any additional items besides the Decayed Master Sword and the small key and Fuse. So while we run over and get the Purah Pad, I'm gonna explain the general route that I'll be doing in this video. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the Ultrahand Shrine, and then we're actually gonna go to the Ascend Shrine second, and then the Fuse Shrine third. You can do a different order, but I'm recommending this order because I think it's the most accessible and the easiest to do without having to do any kind of abnormally weird movement. So like I said, I'm not going to be doing any speedrunner strats, so I'm not going to be doing bridge skip. If you're familiar with Great Sky Island any percent, you probably know how to do bridge skip, but not everyone knows how to do that, and realistically, the time save is not anything too crazy, so I'll just go ahead and activate this and make the bridge and not skip it. If you do bridge skip when making your bingo file, I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about you doing it, but I'm just kind of lazy. And like I said, I want to make this in a way that just about anybody can do it. Be careful not to accidentally mash A and pick up a frog, or you just want to be careful when making the file in general by not accidentally like picking up a tree branch or a sky shroom or something. You don't want to kill any enemies, so you don't want to accidentally push a boulder or something. So just run straight to Temple of Time, ignore any enemies that come by. Try not to drown. It's always a good thing. Something to note is that it's not really a big deal if you take damage, and we're actually going to be taking some intentional deaths later on. So it's not really a big deal if you get hit by this archer or take damage anywhere along the way, because you get healed after completing a shrine, and like I said, we're going to be taking some intentional deaths and using some save scumming basically to get around having to make cold food. Make sure you don't waste any durability on your Decayed Master Sword, because we will need the Decayed Master Sword in the Ascend Shrine, which we'll be doing after this one. Alright, so Ultrahand. Thankfully, this shrine was kind of designed to not be done without picking anything up, so it's pretty straightforward if you're not terrible at the game like I am. Yeah, not much to say. You can really do the shrine however you want. You could have fused those two things together and made a bridge. You could just angle like that, like me, because I'm lazy. You can make a platform here, or you could just use a hook and then hop on it, like so. You could technically use that wooden board and climb up on top of the rail itself and just walk along the rail. And that's one shrine down. Alright, next up is Ascend. We're going to be, like I said, running through the cold area without any kind of cold food, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a hard save every time we get to half a heart, and then when we die we'll just respawn right where we made that hard save. Oh wow, he's chasing me down. The lines I take here when doing this kind of just general overworld movement aren't super optimized. I'm just kind of going in the general direction, so I wouldn't worry too much about following this guide exactly. As long as you're kind of doing the general overall route, you're good. There are some sections of it that might be a little tricky here and there, but I think just about anyone can do this. So we need to grab the energy well belt from this construct over here. Something that's kind of important to note is to not accidentally hit a fan before talking to this construct, because these constructs are kind of coded weirdly, and if you try to hit a fan without having the belts, they won't actually give it to you, so make sure you talk to them first. Now that I have the belts, take this where I have to cross. Just want to keep an eye on your hearts the whole time. Make sure you hard save before you die. If you're concerned, you can can always save more often than not. It doesn't hurt. And so we intentionally die, and then since we hard saved, we'll just reload in the same exact spot. And you can do that as many times as you need, and so we're at full hearts. And that's kind of how we'll navigate this cold area without having to cook any cold food and having to pick up peppers. In addition to not picking up any items and discovering any recipes, we also want to avoid discovering any cave locations as well. So we really want to just keep it to doing the absolute bare minimum. So I'm going to come up here, get to like right around here, and I'll make a hard save because this jump can be a little tricky. And it's pretty easy to fall in the water here and die, and so I'll do that. So thankfully I made it, but if you die there, it's not a big deal because you should just hard save. If you really need to, you can kind of walk close up against the wall here and then just climb across like this. So that's another way of doing that if that jump is something that you're struggling with. But then once you make it across that little jump there, all we have to do is climb this wall, or climb the wall right up next to the waterfall and make it up to ascend. So the stamina is a little tight, so it might take you a couple tries, but what you want to do is you want to walk up against the wall, so Link does that kind of climb up, and then just do 3 climbs, climb slow until the last sliver is left, and then do another climb and you'll make it up top with just enough reach. Wait for your stamina reset, do the same thing where you do that little hop, climb 3 times, and then you can just slow climb all the way up and you'll make it. And that's it. So if you do things optimally, you should only need to hard save and then intentionally game over from cold damage twice. If you're a little slow or a little unlucky, it might take a 2 or 3. It might take a couple of extra game overs. And if that happens, it's not a big deal. So next is Ascend. Like I mentioned earlier, you really want to make sure you don't break your Decayed Master Sword, because we'll need it to cut the ropes in this shrine. Since most people will be kind of low on hearts here, you want to be careful with this archer. He's a menace. This guy's got aimbot. And that's Ascend. So 2 shrines down, 2 to go. something to note is that in the context of bingo, the GSI shrines, the Great Sky Island shrines, they count as shrines completed. So when you see a goal that says 8 shrines, for example, you start that goal at 4 because you still count the GSI shrines. So when you see a shrine that says, you see a goal that says 8 shrines or 12 shrines, you're already kind of starting with a nice little head start because you count the GSI shrines. This is kind of a carryover rule from Breath of the Wild. So any shrine where Great Sky Island shrines are applicable, that counts. So if there's a goal that says get 8 shrines in the sky, after you start the bingo game, you really only need to complete 4 of them in the actual game because you've completed 4 on GSI. So after completing Ascend, you just want to run over to this wing, break the icicle with the Master Sword, instantly turn left, and then kind of steer a little bit in between these two little hanging down island things and head towards Fuse. Just take a nice casual wing ride over to Fuse. Glad I didn't get hit by that wing. That would have been kind of embarrassing. If that happens to you, don't worry about it though. You'll have an autosave right outside of Ascend, so you can just try it again. So this shrine is a little unique in that it has a key door, so we do have to open the key chest. There's not really a good way to avoid this. So we're going to be doing a little bit of Ultrahand shenanigans to avoid having to pick up any items like the Claymore in order to break all the breakable stone barriers in this shrine. So first thing we want to do is Ultrahand these 3 boulders together to kind of make like a ladder. And then we can lean it up against this first barrier and then kind of just climb it. But we don't want to just jump right over. If that happens, you'll have to reload your save. We need these 3 boulders. They're very important to completing this shrine all the way to the end. So make sure you drag it over with you. So we don't want to pick up any fire fruit. We don't want to pick up the bow. We don't want to pick up the arrows. We want to avoid all of these items. And instead we're going to take our little 3 rock ladder here, balance it up here, climb it again. And then we're going to ascend through this platform to get to the key chest. You actually have to ascend through the chest itself, I think. And then we get the key. That's unfortunate. Make sure you land on the rock boulder. So that way you don't die. Pro tip. I did that intentionally, actually, just so, you know. This is, like I said, the most kind of involved shrine, so I wanted to show it to you twice. Imagine if I just crushed myself. That'd be pretty hilarious. A little finicky. There are some alternate strategies you can do here to actually like attach the chest to your kind of ladder here. You'll need more than just these 3 boulders though. But yeah, you'll get it eventually. If you have more than 1 heart and a quarter, you should theoretically be able to live that, I guess, but... Oh well. Oh, I almost forgot. We still need a boulder. We probably don't need all 3 of these. I'm just gonna take one just for simplicity's sake here. This one looks good. There's still one more barrier at the end of the shrine that we need to get past, so we need to drag this thing along. It's also kind of nice. You can block your line of sight with this Captain Construct, so he never actually sees you. As long as you keep the boulder in between you and him, he'll never really see you, and he'll just kind of like look around and be kind of confused. He'll get kind of scared of the boulder, and usually he runs away from it, but I guess that time he kind of ran into it. But we juked him, so it's fine. And that's Fuse done in a couple tries. Alright, so now we need to go back to Temple of Time. It can be a little annoying to do because, like I said, we need to avoid all the caves and stuff, and we have this big river to cross. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab these 2 logs, fuse them together, avoid this construct chasing me, and then run over to this dock over here. You can't make it across this river, as far as I'm aware, in one wheel of stamina just from this dock. You kind of need just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of drop these logs in the water and then use them to reset my stamina. So that way I don't have to worry about drowning. And I can kind of just ferry them across till about wherever you feel is comfortable. I probably have enough stamina just from here. If I really want to play it safe, I can take these logs all the way across. But I'll probably just swim after this right here, because I should have more than enough. Send up here, and then it's just a matter of running all the way to Temple of Time. Like I said, the pathing I'm taking is not probably super optimal, but it gets the job done. we ascend here? Yeah, let's do this. I didn't do that the first time. You can just mash B here to end this cutscene early. Something I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the right stick to use the scope. The first time you use the scope, you have the kind of animation of Link pulling things out, so I'm going to do that here. And then I'm going to push the map button, which then is this kind of first time pull out animation. Everyone should do those. That's right around this time, so that way you kind of do those first time animations and get them out of the way. They are technically unavoidable. Like they're technically avoidable. You can jump and open your map or open the inventory and then switch to your maps to avoid those first time pull out animations, but they're so minor that I think it's worth just doing them on GSI, so that way no one has to worry about doing them in a bingo file. So you can use recall to jump across the cogs here, but it's kind of annoying, so I'm going to just kind of climb up on this little lip here, if it's not going to give me too much trouble. You can stand on this little lip and then ascend up. Be a little finicky though. Doesn't really matter how you get up here, but I find that easier than messing with the cogs in general. And on to the last shrine. Nachoyah is pretty similar to the Ultrahand shrine in that It's very straightforward. You don't really need to do anything special to complete it. You just use the ability that the shrine wants you to. The rest of GSI is completed as normal. There is one very interesting quirk about this game, and that's if you fast travel while inside of a cave, your load is actually a lot longer. So it's like a second faster or something to run outside that cave and then warp to Ultrahand Shrine. Getting the fourth heart is unavoidable. You have to get it to open this door, so this is one of the few things we can't skip. And that's Great Sky Island. But we're not done yet. We still need to get the paraglider. So, first thing we're going to do is head towards Lookout Landing and talk to Joshua and Purah. Just gonna take a nice casual stroll across Hyrule Field. I think you technically could find a horse, but it's not necessary. Just make sure you don't accidentally pick up any items or accidentally grab a Korok or something. As then you would more or less have to restart the entire process of making a bingo file, which would be, at this point, somewhat devastating. From the end of GSI till the end of making the bingo file, you do want to avoid taking any damage. Ideally, if you take any damage, you can always just save and intentionally die to get your hearts back. But ideally, you just don't take any damage after completing Great Sky Island. So we'll talk to Joshua here. We need to talk to Joshua so that way Purah comes out and we talk to Purah and she tells us to go to the first guard tower. There's no way to skip this. If you go straight to the first guard tower without talking to her, you have to come back and talk to her first, and then the guard will talk to you, and you'll see Zelda fly away. These are the 3 character profiles you'll have when you start a bingo file. Those 3 character profiles are unavoidable. Pretty epic view. Kind of weird how the water in this game just kind of disappears after a certain point. Like where's all the water in those waterfalls going, you know? Just evaporating really quickly. So you can just go around this gate, like on the left or the right side. You don't need to use Ultrahand to open it, but you can. Also, you can use Ultrahand on the gate. There are the few people that didn't know that. It's not a big deal if you open it, because once we go all the way back to Lookout Landing, the gate is far enough away that it unloads and will reset back to its closed state. So we're gonna stand in this specific spot here, just so we can kind of get to the guard tower faster. You just want to stand right next to this kind of pillar here until you can get the ascend. And that takes you kind of all the way up to the top here, to the top of this castle turret. little bit quicker than running around. I want to be careful here not to take any fall damage. It can be kind of a sketchy drop down here. Oh, I took fall damage. Not a big deal. If you want to play it safe, you can go kind of the long way around. Might not be a bad idea. I'm going to take a quick little detour here, and I recommend everyone does this, especially if it's nighttime when you're doing this. At this point, over here there should be a lit campfire in this building up here, and you can rest so that way you reset time to morning. All bingo files should try to start around the same time. You can use this campfire wherever it is. There it is. This one should always be lit, assuming it's not raining. And if it's raining, you can just kind of wait out the weather as long as you're far enough away. And when you show up to the pod, it should be lit. So everyone should try to sleep at this campfire, so that way it gets set to 5 a.m. And if everybody runs to Lookout Landing at around the same pace, we should all be getting paraglider at around the same time. Yo, we're going for a little jog. Oh, fair enough, you're going that way, I'm going this way. We're in the final stretch here. You don't want to open up the emergency shelter or really talk with any of the NPCs here at Lookout Landing besides these two to do the bare minimum. So at this point, before you collect Paraglider, you should have an autosave here. So now you can go and just kind of... Oh, because apparently you can't. I thought you could. I guess you should maybe... I figured I was able to do this here, but I guess not. Well, I have autosaves from the first gatehouse, so if you take damage on your way from the gatehouse to here, like I did, you should probably just reload right away from this autosave and then make it back here without... make it back out without making damage, but I'll do that later. So you want to activate the terminal, and that's basically it. Once you do that, Purah gives you the paraglider, and as soon as you close the text box, you should make a hard save. And like I said at the beginning, if you're making this on an account that's attached to Nintendo Switch Online, you can upload this save data to the cloud and then turn off automatic backups. And then whenever you need to, you can download that save data. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you either need to never hard save again on this file and only use autosaves, or you can hard save. You just have to make a new file the next time you want to play bingo. So once she's done talking, I'm not going to move, and then I'm going to hit start, make my hard save, and that's it. I'm done. With the caveat that I should have full hearts, but anyway, thanks for watching.